Hi there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary and this is my Flosstube channel. Today, as I'm filming this, it is February 2nd, 2024, and I have a small pile of things to show you, but just because the pile is small does not mean that the progress was not significant. I'm trying something new. I only became a non-monogamous stitcher in like June of last year. Prior to that, I stitched on one, maybe two projects at any given time, and I found enjoyment from it, but I find a lot more enjoyment of having a variety of things to choose from, and that's why I switched from one really big project and usually one really small travel project to many projects of varying sizes on varying types of fabric using varying types of floss. So this year, I'm still kind of trying to find my stitching style. And so this year I've decided that every month I'm going to pick like a mini focus, which is like a smaller project that I feel like I could finish up in that month or at least get really close. And then I have bigger projects where I'm focusing on page finishes or like a certain number of stitches for that month. Now, if I don't achieve those, it's not the end of the world. This is a fun hobby. But right now, that's what's working for me. And already in January, I achieved all of the goals that I had set for myself as far as like page and stitch count finishes go. So I'm really happy with that. So in this video, I'll show you my finishes for the past 2 weeks, everything I've worked on. I'll give you a taste of my haul that I got. A lot of it is actually already in projects because I was just super excited to get started on some of that stuff. And then I will talk about plans for February as well. So if any of that sounds interesting, stay tuned. I do always put timestamps on my video so you can skip to whatever part of the video you want to see. And I also include links to any patterns that I discuss in the video in chronological order of me mentioning them. So if there's a pattern that you're like, oh, I heard her talk about this, I'm really interested, just check the description bar down below and I should have a link to that. So first let's start with finished objects. I have one, and this is from my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. This is Christmas Chaos, and I can't remember who it's by. Like I said, it'll be mentioned down below. This actually came from the Just Cross Stitch 2023 magazine, and I should have on the screen where it was the last time. I did a strictly Ornaments 12 by 12, all smalls, because I wanted these to be like, I didn't want to be overwhelmed by starts, especially for my first 12 by 12. So here is what it looks like now. This is stitched on, I believe it's Fiber on a Whim Lagoon Ada, and it is 18 count. I bought this Ada for a specific project last year, and I still have quite a bit left over, and it's not my favorite Ada. I'm not going to lie to you. It's too, when I stitch on Ada, I like to stitch in hand, and I prefer it a little bit stiffer for that purpose. This is like really floppy, which is great for hoop stitching. So as you can see from the hoop marks, I did end up throwing it in a hoop, but it is incredibly soft. And it looks really nice, but it's not my favorite color to stitch on either. I don't know why. So I just thought like it would be a good backdrop to these cats. Now, I don't have a cat, and I never will, unfortunately, because my fiance is wildly allergic to cats. He loves them so much. He doesn't care. He was like, I'll just suffer. And I'm like, no, your head swells up to the size of a freaking watermelon. We're not doing that. But yeah, it was a fun, easy stitch. I ran out of this black color. Was it like 37 something? I can't remember the exact color, but definitely played some thread chicken with that and almost lost. I'm all out of that. The lights I really think look super cute. Not fun to stitch because each one is like 7 stitches, and then you gotta break your thread and go to the next one. So it's just like a lot of moving around, but ultimately very cute. Don't know how I'm gonna finish it yet. I'm gonna get a good chunk of ornaments done before I start FFOing them, fully finishing them, so that I can have just like one big FFO day, so that it's a little bit more like systematic practice with FFOing, you know. But yeah, very cute. Will be put in my finished box, which is this. Like, this is like for scrapbook paper. But I put all of my stuff that's done that just isn't like, it doesn't have a plan yet, or I haven't, you know, haven't enacted that plan. So there's like a handful of stuff in there. That was my only finished object for these past 2 weeks. But I do have like five projects that I worked on, and I did get significant progress on all of them. And I got page finishes on a couple of them as well. So like that's, even though it's not a FO, it is still kind of like a milestone, you know? So let's get into those. So in January, my kind of like mini focus was be nicer to yourself. And I did end up finishing that, I think like halfway through the month. And so I decided to just get like a head start on the thing I want to finish for February, which is one of the Cottage Garden Samplings snowmen in the Snowmen series. And the one I am doing, I don't have the cover image. It's like in my closet and I don't want to deal with that right now. This is the clown. I saw this on Cam the Stitcher's channel and immediately was like, yes, I want that. When I was a kid, I was terrified of clowns. Like, I cried when I saw Ronald McDonald. Now as an adult, I'm like, okay, they're kind of fun. They're kind of goofy. So I was like, I have to start that series, and I want to start with the clown. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole series. I did buy the Postman, and there's a couple others that I like, but the problem is I don't like the fabric that I chose for the one I'm doing right now. So this is stitched on 36 count Heartland Edinburgh linen by Picture This Plus. And I've had other Picture This Plus fabrics and I really like them. So this isn't like a condemnation of the dyer. I think part of it is, first I thought maybe it's because this was my first foray into linen. This is the first time I ever stitched on linen. I have been stitching since I was 18 and I was only stitching on Aida. I didn't really know about linen and even weaves and all of that kind of stuff until I found Flosstube. And so I decided to try linen for the first time. And I started with this and I made a lot of mistakes early on. I don't think you can really tell. I feel like I fudged them pretty well. But I guess let me show you the piece and then I'll talk more about it. But you should have been seeing on the screen what it looked like before. And since I started working on it partially in January, here is where I am now. I have come in here and I filled in the last of the big tops. I put in this lady here who is jumping over. I got part of a snowball, which you can barely see against. That's another problem with this linen, is the white doesn't pop. I shouldn't have chosen this color, but I didn't know. I finished all of his head and his hair, and I've come down and I started his kind of body here. So really, I've got to get the rest of his body, the rest of the border, and then there's like mini motifs around here. The body is stitch dense for sure, but the part that's stitch dense is color blocked for the most part. Really big chunks of color because his pants are just big stripes, and then his shoes are, you know, mostly one color. So I think that even though I think it has a significant amount of stitches, it's not more than I can do in the month of February, along with my other goals. The only thing is, it's like, even now that I feel like I'm capable of stitching on linen much more than I was back when I started this linen is hard to stitch on. This is just not my favorite kind of linen. I have linens from other dyers. I keep wanting to say brands, but I feel like nobody says brands when it comes to this. It's dyers. This particular linen, which some linens are, is very, very uneven, which is why I tend to prefer even weaves, like Luganas and things like that. But I've bought other linens that I've stitched on, and they felt almost as if they were even weaves because they are so evenly woven. This, absolutely not. And it is slubby. It has massive slubs in some parts, and it gives it a very rustic look. So it is a beautiful, beautiful linen, beautiful colorway, beautiful dye. However, it's tough for someone who is still maybe not as practiced as somebody who's been stitching on linen for a long time. I'm thinking that by the time I finish this piece, I will feel a lot more comfortable with it. And maybe I will use the same linen for another one of the snowmen. Or what I'll do is, and again, thanks to Cam, this is kind of how I got the idea. So Cam the Stitcher here on YouTube, she is doing this project. It's like a completely different project. It's a Hello from Liz Matthews series of trees, and she's gonna make like a banner with them. And she said she's gonna use different fabrics for several of them and have like a mixture of fabrics, like different colors. And I was like, well, I trust her because she seems to know what she's doing with color. Because for me, I'm a very matchy person. I'm like, if I've done one, I have to do them all in the series on the same fabric. Maybe I'll just do all of the snowmen on a completely different fabric. I'll use the same count, but I'll do different fabric colors. And then I don't know how I'm going to finish them, but I feel like that way I can justify not buying more of this fabric because I'm not good at it. I just feel like it's not, my skill level is not here. And I feel like once, like far away, you can't really see that snowball. Up close, I feel like you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, the white does not pop against this color. Hadn't really thought about it. Luckily, because the snowman is heavily outlined in hair and other kind of details, he pops, and so that's okay. But you know, you live, you learn. And I put a lot of stitches into this, and I am saying this only for me. I don't believe in abandoning projects. I believe that because I chose this, I did this to myself, and now I must suffer. I must finish it. It is a punishment to me from me. I don't know why. I've always been like that. I'm the same with books. I'm the same with TV series. I'm like, I chose this. I have to stick it out. I have to finish it. And the only person I can blame is myself. I don't know why. I can't UFO things. I just can't do it. It's like, it is like the sunk cost fallacy where I'm like, I've already put all this time and this fabric and these flosses that I bought, you know. I know that it's not like a healthy mindset. However, I'm punishing myself. So I'm going to finish this damn snowman, okay? So that's what I'm going to do in February. But I do love the colors I chose here. So one thing about this is it calls for a floss dyer that I don't use. And so I swapped them for, I think it's Classic Colorworks. It calls for Weeks Dye Works, and it's baked apple and grapefruit. And I'm pretty sure I use Classic Colorworks. I think that's who it is. If it's not, I will amend that on the screen. And then for baked apple, I subbed to something called mulberry. And for grapefruit, I chose tomato, which I absolutely love this orange. Like, I just thought that was going to be perfect for the clown's hair. So, and I think it does look really, really good. That's like the darker orange in his hair. I think it's really cute. So I'm happy with it. I hate every stitch. I get so mad because I've noticed too, I think because of the unevenness of the weave, it's a little bit of a rougher fabric, and the slubbiness of it, it tangles my thread and shreds my threads like no other. I'm like, am I crazy? But no, it really is just, it's tearing it up. So never let me buy this one again. I will buy others from this dyer, just not this one. The next project I have is Mothman Believes in You, and this is by Stitch Sprout. This is my riding in the car while my fiance is driving, so I have something to focus on instead of being scared of being driven around project. Highly specific to me and me alone. This calls for DMC. I swapped it for Sulky just because I bought a bunch of Sulky and was like, I should probably try and use that out. Or try it out. And I have it on my own 18 count Ada, which I dyed. And it has, wow, this has a hanging thread. We were probably pulling into the restaurant. No, you know what? I remember now. I had taken this, on Sunday were going to meet my parents for lunch, and I got so car sick on the way. And actually, I feel car sick now, and I haven't even been in a car today. I just have like a raging headache, and it makes me feel a little bit nauseous. So I couldn't really put many stitches into this, but I did end up working on it at home to make up for that. So you should have seen where I was before. I did end up finishing his whole head, so that I could put his eyes in, because he was looking really weird, all headless. And then I rounded out that border, and then I came in and I started putting, it's kind of got like this like filigree looking border around it. And then I'm saving all this fill in for like whenever I'm driving, because that's like the easiest part. And then here at home, I'll probably put, it says Mothman Believes in You at the bottom. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I do have a friend who I met via my nail polish Instagram, who she loves cryptids too. So I might turn it into something, and I'm seeing her this summer at Polish and Beauty Expo, which is a nail polish expo where you can go and buy like indie nail polish, and she's going to be there for the first time. I've gone the past 2 years. I get to go as press this year, so I feel very important. But I'm going to meet her in person for the first time, so I might give this to her because I think she would like it. Also, this has nothing to do with cross stitch or anything, but she's a cheese expert, which is like the coolest thing you could be. She has like a crazy, it's like, you know, those like people who are like top sommelier with wine. That's her, but with cheese. Like they have that thing, but for cheese. And she has that certification. So I always ask her questions about cheese. So yeah, she's my cheese / cryptid friend. So I think that I will probably give this to her when I'm done. Next is my long dog sampler. This is my lunch hour stitch. So I have like a hybrid job. So I work from home 2 days a week, and then 3 days a week I'm in office. So when I'm in office, I bring this to stitch on, which I only just started this year. Like last year I was kind of just stitching on whatever I wanted in the office. But right now this is like my main in-office stitch. Now I finished page 2 of this. It's like a 9-page project. And I finished page 2 of this last month, and my goal was to get half of page 3 done. And I'm almost done with page 3. So you've seen where I was last time. And here is where I am now. And yeah, it has a hanging thread because I was like stitching right up until lunch hour was over on Wednesday. I just have a little bit more of this vase to do. Like I have one more flower, which doesn't take that long. And then like the tippy top of the vase, you can kind of see on this side, like it'll mirror this vase. It's just like a slightly different design. And then I just have to bring the border down a little bit, and I will be done with page 3. And this will be another one of my goals for the month of February, which I will talk about when we get there. But yeah, I really love, I say this every time, but like this piece, the reason why I like it so much, this is my first long dog. It may be my only long dog, because while I like a lot of the long dog designs, they're very nice. They don't call to me in the same way that this one does. And you know, for smaller projects, I feel like it's, if I'm not like super 100% like into it, it's okay because it's a quick finish. For a project of this size, which like you can see, it's gonna take up a majority of this fabric, you have to love it. You have to absolutely be dedicated to it, or else you're never gonna finish it. You're gonna hate it. So there's a lot of long dogs where I'm like, those are really cool, but I'm not like as passionate about them. And I like this because it says on like the quote on it, which usually I'm not a big, like I don't love stitching a lot of text, but this on the front says, turn your face to the sun and the shadows fall behind you. And I don't know, I just feel like look to the light. It's like a very positive kind of thing. And I'm not like, I'm a very cynical person. So I feel like it's nice to have some positivity in my life. So I really like this one. I don't know, you can see at the top, it has the date. I might replace that. They did put in some like extra little motifs like squirrels and stuff. I just don't think that, I don't like putting just the date that I finished on there. Like I just am not super into that. It doesn't really mean much to me. I have a couple projects that I'm going to put the date on, but those dates are like when I got engaged and things like that. This is like just the date I finished it. So I'm not super concerned with that yet. I'll fill that in last, and you can kind of see it's like blank right there. Definitely something needs to go in there. I just don't know what. Oh, and this is being stitched 2/2 with DMC 310 on, oh, what is the fabric? It is Springfield Sage Lugana. And I will put the dyer on the screen because I don't remember. Okay, next is my I call it my state fair project. This is Meditation Garden by Jan Hicks. Here's where I was last time, and my goal was to finish page 1 by the end of January. I'm kind of doing a page a month, and that should make it so that I can finish it by June. And the state fair is in September. So that'll give me time to get it framed, get it finished, and figure out the application process, because I really don't know how that works. But I want to submit this to the Michigan State Fair. I don't know why. I want a ribbon. I want to win a ribbon. I don't know. And the thing that drew me into this project was the beautiful border. So here is where I am right now. And as you can see, I've definitely gotten more than what I needed to, which is great. Being ahead is always good. Page 1 is like, I think it's like here and like here. So I extended the border. I finished this piece of the border. And then I just started over here doing the next chunk of border, and I kind of just came down. Like I'm just kind of like in a lot of different pages right now. But my goal for this coming month will be to finish page 2, which I've already gotten a significant chunk on. This is just one of those days where I don't have all the information in front of me, apparently. Sorry guys, I just got the headache. I was gonna say I don't know why. I know why. It's because all I've had today is a Red Bull and a bag of pretzels, and that's dehydration right there. So that's probably what it is. So I will put on the screen the information about the fabric. The floss I do know is Miss Seda silk, stitched 1/2. They are very pretty silks. This has been a joy to stitch so far. I cannot wait to have it finished, and even if I don't win a ribbon, I really wanted to do this project. So I really like this frame that it's on. It's like a lap frame that you can like put on your lap and stitch. So I stitch two-handed, you know, I like pop the needle up and like do this, and I pop it down and underneath. It's really nice on this fabric. The fabric's pliable enough that it makes it very easy. I tried doing it with my Pokemon Ada, and it wasn't the same. So yeah, that is this. Not too much to say about it. It's very easy to stitch on. I've definitely made a couple not counting mistakes, but mistakes where I was like half a stitch off or something like that. But I feel like I fudged them well enough that it's not noticeable. So we'll see. And then the last project I have worked on for these past 2 weeks, which has taken up quite a lot of my time these past couple of weeks, is the one you saw in the thumbnail, which is my year-in stitches. And the reason why it's taken up such a significant chunk of my time is because I was like, I want to get this top like words done, and I'm almost done. So you can see there's like a kind of like a drop shadow that I'm stitching in like a lighter gray, and I just have these last 4 letters that I have to finish. So after I finish filming here, I'm gonna go finish these 4 letters because it's driving me nuts, and then I can post a picture on Instagram, because I want to post the entire month of January and then post some highlights each month. I want to like do that, and I wanted the top to be done in order to do that. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, same user as here, and if you just want a link, it's linked down below. So I guess I'll just go through each of the motifs. So last time I finished off the top row and you saw all of those. So let's just carry on to the next day. So this was actually the day I filmed when I stitched this. And this is like one of those movie clacker things. I found this in the Makoto Ozu stitching book, and I changed the colors because they use like a weird tealy blue for where I subbed the black in. I just feel like it looks better with black. That's to represent, I watched a really sad movie. It's called Spoiler Alert, and it has Jim Parsons in it, the guy from The Big Bang Theory. I'm not a Big Bang Theory fan. And so I just was like, oh, that's gonna be weird. And it's like, I didn't realize like Jim Parsons is a good actor. So he did a really good job in that movie and made me sob a little bit. So really good movie, even though it was sad. The next day, Rob and I were like, we want to make nachos. Rob is my fiance, by the way, in case you didn't know that. I feel like some people just say people's names like I'm just supposed to know who they are. And I'm like, what? Who are you? So Rob, my fiance, we were like, let's make nachos. And I don't know, he's just really good at a roux. He's always been very good at making a roux. I've never even bothered to attempt it because he's just that good at it. But for some reason this time, because he never follows a recipe, he just does it. This time he was like, let me follow a recipe. Maybe because he hasn't done it in a while. Like we haven't made anything that required a roux. But he messed it up. So he was like making the cheese, like the roux for the cheese. And his measurements were like insane. And so we kept having to add more of this to balance it out, and then more of that to balance it out, and then more cheese. So we ended up with so much cheese. So I made this little block of cheese. This I found, it was like a pixel art online, and I just picked some colors, just so much cheese. It was so funny because like every so often I'll be like, okay, here's what I've got so far on this. And he's like, what is the cheese for? I was like, that's the day you made too much cheese, Robert. Like, and then the next day, this is a self-drafted can of Red Bull. I don't know if you could tell. That's the sugar-free Red Bull. That's what I drink. And I drink like 6, don't judge me. I drank like 6 Red Bulls that day. Like the little ones, like the little 8-ounce ones. Felt like shit. Like for real. Like I feel like, no, this is how I feel right now. Because I like carbonation. And so I like that like texture in drinks. And so I just kept drinking the Red Bulls. I don't know. Felt horrible. The next day, this is like a to-do list. This is a pixel art I found online. I made a giant to-do list because I felt like I was so behind on everything. And then I got home from work and I didn't do any of it. Instead, I just cross-stitched. So that was my forgotten to-do list. This is a computer. I really like this design. This one is from the Makoto Ozu books. It's got like a little computer mouse, a little keyboard. I was bullied into buying the game Pal World by my friend Trevor, who is annoying. So I got the game Pal World. It's a game for your computer. People keep calling it Pokemon with guns, and the only resemblance to Pokemon is like the little monsters themselves. Like the actual gameplay to me is nothing like Pokemon. It's like a survival game, and what I really liked about it so far, I've only played a couple times because I just don't have a lot of time for video games right now. What I like about it is like the body types. I was able to make a character with like my body type, which is, you know, a big girl. What I don't like about it is that you start naked. So I was like, Trevor, you better give me some clothes. I don't want to walk around with my butt hanging out. You're just like in a loincloth to start. And I was like, I feel self-conscious. Like, I don't know why. That's never happened to me before. But yeah, so Pal World. The next day, it was just like raining non-stop. So I put a little rain cloud. This is from the cute kawaii cross stitch. It's like sitting over there in a pile. So it was a book that I got from Target, and they just like small cross stitch patterns. They all have faces on them. So I just took the face off because it just didn't match the vibe, you know? This is self-drafted. It is a nail polish bottle. So like I said before, I am like a nail polish micro influencer, I guess you could say. I hate calling myself an influencer, but like, I don't know what else is. I'm a nail polish YouTuber. Let's call it that. Mediocre Mannies, if you want to check out my channel. And I am on the PR list for this brand called Starly. So they sent me a 12-piece nail polish collection that I needed to film a video for, so I needed to do a swatch and review. So I spent like 4 hours painting my nails and taking pictures of them for a video. And so I decided to make a little nail polish bottle. Now, this doesn't look like any of the polishes in that collection. This is based off of my favorite Orly nail polish called Elysian Fields, which is a gross green, which is one of my favorite types of nail polishes to wear. So I just wanted to make that. Next day, this is a cleaning bottle. This is from one of the Makoto Ozu books. And this is like the colors that they used that he used in his book were like more aligned with like Japanese packaging colors. We don't like use the same kind of color schemes in marketing sometimes, I would say. And so I decided to turn it into a Windex bottle because I just went on a crazy cleaning spree at my apartment. I just was like in the mood to clean, I guess. And I think it looks really cute. I think it looks like a Windex bottle. I think that was a Friday. So then, yeah, Saturday, I drove to the library, and this is Powerline self-drafted, because on my way home from the library, a power line had fallen down and was just all over 3 roads. So it took, my library is like 5 minutes from my apartment. It took me 20 minutes to get home. So this is Sunday. I had a killer headache, so I just put like a little Advil type thing or whatever. It's just a pill. I think this was self-drafted. I can't remember. I have people have been asking me in the comments, like, am I keeping track of like all these designs? I put the whole thing in Stitch Fiddle, so I have an entire pattern basically being made as I go. And I also have been writing down just a quick, like, 1-line thing on a calendar stating like where I got the pattern, whether it's like self-drafted, like pixel art, Makoto Ozu, etc. And then I put just a quick like few word blurb like why I chose that. So this was this Monday. This is a present. I got a gift in the mail from my friend Stacy, who I met via my nail polish channel. She sent me a couple of nail polishes and it was really sweet. This is self-drafted. This was for, what was that? That was January 30th. The weather was insane, and so I was like an hour late to work, even though I work 15 minutes from my home, because driving to work was, like, I saw a jackknifed semi on my way to work. So this is 10, it says 10 miles per hour, because I had to drive 10 miles an hour on how bad the roads were. And I think I'm going to fill this in with B5200. I haven't decided yet, so it's just kind of the black, but I feel like it needs to be filled in. And then the last day of January. So this, I feel like, please tell me down below, what do you think this looks like? Because this is the first design that I've made that I feel like is just kind of a flop. And I might pull it out and redesign it. Because what it's supposed to be is a button. Because the button came off my pants in the washer. And so I've just been wearing my pants without a button, and I had to wear them to the office that way. I need to get a new pair of pants. But as I was stitching this, I was like, that kind of looks like a communion wafer. I don't know. So that's all of January. I already have, it's February 2nd as I'm filming. I already have like the 2 designs that I know I want to do. So you'll see those next time. But yeah, here is what 1 month of a year in stitches looks like. So I'm pretty happy with it. I just gotta, like I said, finish out the back drop of the light gray in the lettering. See, it's nice because I don't even have to do a life update anymore. I can just do my year in stitches and then you get the life update. So let's talk about haul really quick, and then I will talk about my plans, and then we'll be done. So one of the days in January, I can't remember which day, but Rob asked me if I would run to Walmart and pick him up something to eat, because he was in the middle of like a pre-planned game online. He plays like tabletop RPGs, and he and his friends, they all do it via Discord. And he was like, hey, can you just like go pick me up something to eat and like get something for yourself as well? And I was like, say less. And so I went and I got him the steak that he requested. That boy all he eats is steak. And he was like, you can get something for yourself too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not hungry. So I loosely interpreted getting something for myself as going to the craft aisle, because Ada at my Walmart is like, I literally think it's $2.37, which you can't get this at Joann's that cheap with a coupon most of the time. So I got 3 of the Charles Craft 18 count Ada, and this is 15 by 18 inches. These I like to buy, and then I like to dye them. I think it's fun, and it's good to have like some white Ada on hand too, I guess. So I just have these 3 whenever I feel like I want to dye some fabric, or if I need some white 18 count, I have those. And then I placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order, because there's these 4 patterns that I found recently in some cross stitch magazines that I really want to do. And they're the colors of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And it says like classic British colors of spring, so like colors are spelled with a U. I'm going to modify them a little bit. I'm going to spell it the American way, because you know, I don't spell colors with a U. And I'm going to remove the classic British part. And they're like these little like swatch blocks of just different things. So like in Colors of Spring, they have like baby chicks and it's like a yellow square, and then they have like mini eggs and it's just like a tiny little square motif. Um and most of these I would say fit pretty well for at least where I live. And there's a couple that don't, that I'll probably have to change. Like, okay, on the Colors of Spring, one of the colors is hot cross buns. We don't eat hot cross buns. I'll figure something else out. Colors of Summer, one of them is clotted cream fudge. Probably gonna change that to something else. Let's see. Colors of Autumn, they have something called conkers on here, which I don't know what a conker is. I'm gonna have to Google that and figure out how I can change that. But like for the most part, most of these I can work with. Let's see, is there anything on winter that's like weird for me? No, I think that the winter one I can pretty much use all of. So these are really cute. I thought they were just like a fun little stitch, and I thought it would be fun to start the Colors of Spring one on the first day of spring, the Colors of Summer on the first day of summer, so on and so forth. Get as far as I can with it, maybe finish it within that season if I can. And then what I want to do is finish them, like fully finish them in a way that like do the washer magnet thing where people like have magnets on some kind of like finishing board, and then they put washers on the back of the finished project and they, you know, interchange them. And so I thought it'd be fun to do one for each season. So I got 4 different fabrics from 123 Stitch. They are all Lugana and they're all 32 count. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a tight fit. I picked 16th yards, and I think that these are going to be a little bit tight of a fit, but I think I can make it work. So I got, let's see, I think the spring one, I picked a different color for each season. So for the spring one, I believe it is this green color. For summer, I chose, this one's called, it's just called light blue. The colors look pretty true on the screen. For the fall/autumn, this is light taupe. It looks a little bit lighter on camera. It's like a little bit darker in person. And then for winter, I chose, this was Silvery Moon, and it's like a gray that kind of almost has like a hint of, maybe just a hint of lavender in it. So I thought these were all, you know, soft colors that looked really nice, and I think that it'll be easy to see all of the colors on them. In that order, I also picked up a pattern, and I don't have it handy, so I'm just going to pop a picture on the screen. It is the Wizard Biscornu, and I believe it's a Tiny Modernist. Yeah, so I wanted to try my hand at making a Biscornu, and I thought this one was really cute, and I don't know if I'm going to use this one or another one, but for the smalls exchange at StitchCon, I want to do probably a Biscornu. I also grabbed some 14 count white Aida. You don't need to see, you know what it looks like. It's in my closet. So that is what I'm going to use for that project. And then I had 2 separate orders from Bestitch Me. So first I got they were doing like these grab bags of these, I think they're like 16th cuts of, you could either pick Aida, even weave, or linen, and then you would get 6 cuts of random stuff. It could have been just like cuts that weren't big enough to sell, or mist dyes, or whatever, and nothing was named, so I just call these all mystery fabrics. But we have, it's kind of like, it's a very barely there modeled, this is showing much lighter on camera. It looks like a dark maroon in person. This one is kind of cute. I didn't like it at first, but it's a yellow with a very, very light orange on it. And I was like, what am I going to use that for? But I feel like I could find quite a lot of uses. This is probably my favorite. It's very Halloween-y. The green is not popping on camera, but it's kind of a like more poppy neon-y green. This is a nice blue, kind of ocean-y colorway. Nice there. It's like, it's got some kind of like purplish in there as well. Periwinkle leaning purple, but yeah, this This one's very pretty. And then I got one more that I tossed in a project. Very neutral, kind of tan color. I don't even know the counts of these. I'll have to like measure them out. And this one I'm going to use for, this is Rebel Stitcher Designs Snow Angel. I feel like it'll work for that. So that's what it's in that bag. And then my last bit of haul was my clubs from Bestitch Me. So I got some, I'm in their Silks Club where I get the 225 yards of silk, which you can see I've got quite a lot. I haven't used any of them yet because it's just like, I'm like, oh, I gotta find the perfect project, which is not a good mindset. I need to like actually use some of these. I've used other Bestitch Me silks that I've purchased, just not any of the club ones, which is like stupid. Like, why am I like that? But we got 2 silks. So this is called Colored Eggs. It's very, I don't know if you can see, very pastel. I cannot lie to you, I don't like this one. It's not my colorway. Very Easter. That's okay. I'm sure I will either find a use or give it to somebody who can find a use. And then other one, I'm fairly certain was this one, this purple, called Evil Queen, which is actually stunning. And my favorite one that I've gotten so far from the clubs is this green. And I am looking at these together and I'm like, man, doing some kind of like big, like duochromatic sampler, that might be the vibe with these two. So yeah, I am enjoying, they're so soft. I like them. They're so pretty. Was that the one? Yeah, I feel like that was the one. I opened this yesterday. I can't remember. That's how bad my head hurts. Okay. And then the fabric, I was like, as soon as I pulled it out, I had a fabric in mind for one of my Valentine's Day starts because I think it's like Cam the Stitcher and Marjorie Maid. I think it's them together, or maybe it's just Marjorie, or maybe it's both. I don't know. They were like Stitch Pink for February. And so I was like, I have a new start plan for February because it's all pretty much pinks. And it was going to be this, which is Don't Touch Me by Uncanny Kari and D's 20 Stitches. And I'm not doing the called for fabric. And I bought the DMC that are needed for this rather than the called for, because it's like a brand that I don't know, never heard of it. And I'm like trying to collect all the DMC anyway. So here are the thread colors, and you can see they're like the variations or whatever from DMC. So very Valentine's-y. And I was going to use this color, this fabric that I'd gotten from Bestitch Me a while back called Blush. And then this came from Bestitch Me called Petunia. And you're not even going to be able to see, it's way more bubblegum pink. Let me see if I can turn on the lights. I can't turn the light down anymore. If I put it real close, that's much more like it, but it's still just not, it's like the most soft, beautiful bubblegum pink. And as soon as I pulled this out of the package, I was like, oh, I'm using that instead. So I switched to the 40 count even weave club. So I'm going to stitch it 1/2, and then I'll have plenty left. It is so soft. Like, I just want to touch it. It's, oh my gosh, I didn't even open this all the way. Look at that. You can't even see how beautiful it is because the light is blowing it out. But I just think that those colors on this fabric with that like don't touch me picture is just going to be perfect. So I immediately threw this into that bag, and I'm going to start this. I think I'm going to start this on Valentine's Day. And I have another project. I have the Love Bug sampler that I'm going to be working on as well this month as my other kind of pink project. So that was my haul. And I guess let's just do my plans really quick for basically the whole month of February. I have 4 goals. So my first goal is, a lot of my goals are going to be kind of repetitive from last month. My first goal is to add 3.5 thousand stitches into Pokemon, which I did my goal was 3,000 last month, and I did 3,007. And then I broke I stripped one of the screws on my scroll frame, and it made it really difficult to use. So I did go to Lowe's the other day and I bought new screws, and then I lost the washer. So now it's like not tightening correctly. I don't know. I got to figure it out. The frame is garbage, but I can work with it. I want to finish page 3 of Pavane for these times, which will be an easy get. And then hopefully I can even get close to a page finish on page 4. I want to finish page 2 of Meditation Garden, which again, I've already started it. So I'm going to do what I did this past month. Once I finish it, I'm just going to keep on trucking, get ahead of the game. And then I really, really, really want to finish Snowman Collector. I just want to be done with it. Because it's so cute. I like it. It's just not fun to stitch because of that fabric. So those are my goals. I don't have any major purchasing plans. And the only start I really have planned is, like I said, that Don't Touch Me. That's not to say I'm not going to start other stuff. It's just I'm trying to cycle out some of my older whips so that I can bring in a bunch of new stuff. And I know that because I'm going to StitchCon this year, I'm gonna buy so much. I'm gonna buy so much. And I'm gonna want to start a lot of that stuff that I buy. So I'm gonna just cool it with some of the buying. So yeah, that is really it from me. My head feels like it's going to explode. So I'm gonna go drink some water, and then I'm gonna finish out the lettering on my Year in Stitches. I hope you guys are enjoying this project as, like, I'm sure it's kind of boring sometimes to like hear about my life. But I really like this project. I can't say that I'm gonna do this every year because it is a lot of work. Some of these motifs, they don't take that much time, but it is really nice to kind of reflect on the day and just pick a little thing. Sometimes it's much easier than others to pick a motif or an idea, but it is kind of fun that like throughout the day, when something happens, I go, oh, you know what? There's my stitch of the day. There's my Year in Stitches stitch. Like for example, yesterday, I finally took down the Christmas decorations. So I was like, I'll just put a Christmas tree. So February 1st will be a Christmas tree. And then today, one of our outlets kind of exploded. And so I'm going to do something to do with that. You know, it's like not every day can something super exciting happen. So that's when it becomes a little bit harder. But I feel like this project has made me kind of look at my days in a more excited way, which is a nice positive thing. So anyways, that is going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, and I don't know, stay safe, have fun. I guess have a good Valentine's Day, because I won't see you before then. Okay, I gotta be done. I gotta be done. I'm doing that Midwestern goodbye thing where it takes you 900 years to say goodbye. Goodbye. I'll see you next time. Bye.